Hey, thanks for dropping by to the Planners on Purpose podcast, created by Naomi Tucker, CMP. Now, this space is for the event planners to encourage and empower you so that you can fully live your life on purpose. So before we dig in, please take a moment to subscribe so you get future shows. Now, here she comes, your host, Naomi.
Well, hello everyone. This is Naomi. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Planners on Purpose podcast. So good to have you here for another episode. If you're new to me, I'm glad that you're here and I hope that you'll stay a while, have a look around, and after this, maybe dig into some other episodes. I'm an event professional turned business strategist and burnout prevention coach, and I love empowering event professionals to lead a life they love without stress. So I'm excited to be here today, and I wanted to talk a bit about how to avoid holiday burnout. Because let's face it, we are either in the holiday season or we're coming up on them, and there are things we need to know in order for us to get through this season with ease. Now, when it comes to the holidays, many of us get the opportunity to be with family and friends, and on the outside, it looks nice. We get to see our moms, dads, cousins, uncles. However, we all know with a subtle shift in a particular discussion, that could all blow up right in our faces. Unexpected conversations, flare-ups, and even full-on fights if we aren't careful. Now, perhaps you have that picture-perfect family that comes together for the picture-perfect meals and post picture-perfect Facebook posts. If so, good for you. Then you might want to move on to the next podcast episode because this podcast isn't going to be for those perfect people. Now, sometimes we have real drama that we have to circumvent, and it's like walking on an actual minefield, being careful of every step, isn't it? On top of those awkward and social moments, we might have to navigate also the responsibilities that we get to have. Perhaps you're asked to bring a meal, but then perhaps you're just thrown in the middle of hosting for everyone because everyone loves your home and you weren't expecting that because you just wanted to show up with your pie. But now you have to cater to 20 people and kids. You get what I'm saying. When it comes to the holidays, you can easily be thwarted in so many different directions. And if you're not careful and intentional, you can get on the wrong side of the holidays, which is holiday burnout. So you may be asking, what is holiday burnout? It's when you just take too much on from the holidays, the responsibilities, the cooking, the hosting, and on top of that, difficult conversations, and really just committing to more than you thought you could handle. And not just committing to more than you thought that you could handle. You really get handed more than you can handle. And so when it comes to holiday burnout, I thought that this was an interesting stat. Approximately 38% of people that were recently surveyed said that a holiday season increases their stress level, just almost 40%. And for those that struggle with mental health, 64% said that their conditions worsened around the holidays. So that means the holidays can really be draining, and not just physically draining. It can be emotionally draining, and it can be financially draining as well. So I wanted to provide you with some tips on how to avoid holiday burnout. But first, I want you to be able to know what the warning signs are of holiday burnout. The warning signs are that perhaps you're emotionally detached. You don't, really want to be around your family, be around your friends. You're totally detached and really you try to isolate yourself. Another one is that you have trouble concentrating. You probably have your thoughts on other things and you have trouble concentrating on the situation at hand. Next is you have less interest in activities that once sparked joy and excitement. So let's say you really enjoyed doing cribbage at your mom's house, but then now you just don't want to have anything to do with it. You have difficulties sleeping, or you have frustration over the holiday events or activities for some reason. Perhaps you have increased stress and anxiety, or a weakened immune system. Sometimes we find that we're getting sick more often, or we're just not really feeling well. And then finally, changes in your appetite or indigestion, and it's not necessarily from the Thanksgiving meal. So what can you do? Well, here are some tips that I have that you can do in order to avoid that holiday burnout. The first one is enforce your boundaries. Make sure that you're sticking to your priorities and not being overambitious and get caught up into additional things that you really do not want to do. In your personal life, it's okay to say no to anything that does not align to your priorities and your routine. It's okay to enforce boundaries on anything. Also, clear communication. It's very important to communicate clearly when it comes to friends and family. It can be hard to say no. I totally understand, but enforce your boundaries and ensure that they understand the reason why you're saying no, and they understand your position, to ensuring that you can move through conversations in a smooth way. Now, the third tip I have for you is to build routines and rituals around certain tasks. And with the holidays coming up, there's just a lot to do. There's, holiday parties. You're also probably doing lots of holiday gifting, and there can be a lot to do. It's supposed to be a joyous time, and that is certainly true, but it also can just be overwhelming. The gifts we have to buy and the things we have to do, and making sure that we have the wrapping paper and the tape and the trees up and all the things. But perhaps implementing a schedule for yourself around these tasks can help you get through them easily instead of just randomly attacking them here and there. So for example, if you need to do a lot of holiday shopping, perhaps carve out some time to shop routinely, like on a Thursday evening after work. Take out some time to maybe go out and do your shopping then, so that every single Thursday you're going to be doing the shopping, and perhaps do a little bit of a treat to yourself with doing some takeout for dinner. Those are some things that make it easier instead of having to just randomly get it done, which then can cause a little bit more frustration. The next one is to be careful what you say with your friends and your family. As mentioned, a lot of things when we're dealing with family can just blow up right in our faces. So make sure you save yourself some trouble. And if that means biting your tongue, if you have to, do that in order to resist the urge to snap at your family or to say something that they may not particularly like. It really just saves you a lot of heartache. So I would just say, take a deep breath and move on. Now, I want to be mindful to address that many people struggle with the holidays because they have maybe a family member that isn't there. Perhaps there's a loved one that has passed away. And if this is you, I'm just very sorry. And knowing that you struggle, I guess I would say to ensure that you have some supportive people around you during the holiday. Perhaps you have friends or extended family. Just have that support if you can. It's interesting because I just saw a friend posted on Facebook saying that she needed somewhere to go on Thanksgiving, that she didn't have anywhere to go, but she wanted to be able to go somewhere. And it was just amazing how many people, including myself, offered her to come by their home for Thanksgiving dinner. And so I guess I'm just saying that it's okay to reach out, be vulnerable, ask for that support. You would be surprised to see how many people would just basically raise their hands to be able to support you and to come alongside of you during a time that you may be struggling. Now, burnout can be difficult to overcome alone. So I would just suggest that you get some support. Get a coach like myself to help you overcome your stress and create a strategy to address and improve your life so that you can enjoy your friends and family. I hope these tips helped you on the ways to avoid and prevent your holiday burnout. Do you have a tip that can be added to this? If so, hit me up on Instagram and let me know. Thanks so much for listening, and stay on purpose.
Well, that wraps it up for this episode. If you enjoyed the conversation, hit the like button and tell us how much you enjoyed the show by leaving a message in the comments. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.